So public laundry rooms are just the worst invention ever.
This is how we're going with it. Okay.
Yep.
I don't know.
Like-
I've never dealt with them as much, I guess.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Give me, I'm fancy. I live in Minnesota. I get my own laundry room.
No, I just waited till the weekend and did it at my dad's.
That's also normal what I do. But when I have to do it in my apartment complex, God, the people are just, like,
I mean,
just leave their shit there for hours.
Welcome to living with other people, Joe.
Yeah, but why do they have to be such assholes?
Because it's people.
I was in there earlier and I was putting my laundry in the dryer and some people like snuck up on me and just were staring at me and it's very uncomfortable. Like I was bent over picking something up and then I just turned around and they were just behind me and hadn't made a noise yet. And I was like, oh. Can't,
were they just like staring at you or what
they were just, yeah, they were just standing there. I'm like, yeah, you couldn't like.
They're checking you out.
Clear your fucking throat or something?
They're checking you out, dude.
I'm going to join a swingers cult within my apartment complex.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple, too, which raises other questions. Why does it take two of you to do laundry? Are you that fucking inept? Like, it's simple. You put your clothes in the hole. There's a hole. You put them in there. You put some quarters in the designated quarter hole, and then you press the button. And that's it. It's all you have to do. Everything else is handled for you. But
yeah, pretty much.
It took two of them to figure that out. So.
Oh, Jesus. They don't have fucking the shit written on the washing machine because a lot of them usually do.
Oh yeah, they do.
Oh,
there's instructions. Yeah, come to think of it, maybe they didn't live here. Maybe there's just some people. So that goes back to another story. When I first moved in, there's a guy on the first floor who's kind of an asshole, but we had the door propped open because we were moving like furniture and shit up the stairs. You know?
Yeah.
Dude comes out and throws a fit. And my dad was out there, and he started yelling at my dad for some reason. But I was upstairs doing something. My dad had gone downstairs, and I went downstairs, and he's yelling at my dad. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And he's like, you can't prop the door open. Homeless people will wander in. What the fuck are you talking about?
He doesn't want them homeless people coming in.
Like, I don't live like in a major city. I live in a township. I think it's technically a city, but like I don't live in a densely populated city. The nearest building to my apartment is a couple 100 yards away, and there's not a lot of homeless people. It's mostly a big, nice suburb with some shopping and apartments in it.
It's nice.
So, yeah, but he's afraid of the homeless people wandering in. Fun follow-up fact on this, and this is a true story. I was dating a girl who worked at the grocery store down the road from my apartment, right?
Okay.
And one night, she comes back to my apartment, and we're coming back to my apartment, so we're downstairs. Dude standing outside like he does. He just stands out there. It's also kind of creepy. Man, my neighbors like to stand and be creepy. That's something I just realized. But anyway, he's just standing out there in his area because he has a little front yard, quote unquote. Because he's on the first floor. We walk past him. She looks at him kind of funny. I'm like, Anyway, we go upstairs. And we're hanging out. And she goes, hey, so I know that guy downstairs. And I'm like, oh? And she goes, yeah, he got arrested for stealing Axe body spray out of our store a couple months ago.
Okay.
So yeah, those are the kind of people I live with.
Yeah, dude, you live with the wrong, you live near the wrong people.
But we have a castle within our apartment complex, so.
Oh, what?
One of our buildings is a castle.
Okay.
Sadly, I don't live in it, but should the option arise, I would definitely take it. Actually, so we have, and it's like a 12-unit building that's a castle, right? It's the same size as the rest of our units, or the rest of our buildings, but a little bit further down the road, they're building I think it's a 150 total unit castle. It's like 6 stories, and it's just a fucking eyesore because they ran out of money. So it's just a big concrete structure right next to the interstate. But someday it's supposed to be a castle. They're gonna have like a tower. You can live in the tower penthouse for like $9,000 a month.
Huh?
Aren't you looking for a place, Protag? Have you ever?
Yeah, but not that much.
Not looking for a $9,000 a month tower penthouse?
No.
But you'll be defended from the barbarians.
Jesus.
On that note, welcome to the To Be Decided podcast. It's the week of the February 25th, 2018. My home state is partially underwater. Protag is buried under snow. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
This week we're going to talk about the one easy way to get $6 million or a Windows 7 key, or probably nothing, whether or not video games are causing the collapse of our society, and how KFC runs out of chicken, which is literally 1/3 of their name, but they ran out of it. Then we're going to wrap everything up with a nice review of some stuff.
So wait, if one part of their name is gone, are they just Fried Kentucky then? Or?
Fried Kentucky? Or just Kentucky Fried? Kentucky Fried what? We don't know anymore.
No, is Kentucky itself fried? Now we're bringing the hard ball of questions.
The entire state of Kentucky has been fried and is now available for consumption. That is the most American thing ever.
Yeah.
Instead of presidential elections, we're just going to start frying different states every year.
Woo!
It's like the Purge.
Yeah, it's like the Purge, but worse.
But tastier, I think, is what you meant to say.
I guess?
This obviously happened in England because KFC running out of chicken in America would be a national disaster.
Fucking riots.
But yeah, they ran out of chicken. They're 900 stores. They just didn't have any chicken because they switched to a new DHL, which is like a shipping company. And apparently DHL just on the first day could not figure out how to deliver chicken to 900 stores. Which I feel like that's something you plan out ahead of time. You don't just
you would hope.
Because that costs, or they're getting paid a shit ton of money. KFC has been paying them millions of dollars to make this all happen. And on the first day, they're like, all right, just load it on some trucks and see what fucking happens. And somebody's like, we're out of trucks.
Oh my god!
How could we not foresee this coming? We've run out of trucks. KFC stated they've had teething problems getting fresh chicken. It's not fresh chicken, by the way. That's a load of shit.
Yeah, nothing's ever fresh.
I don't even think it's technically chicken, but...
Fresh, never frozen.
Getting what KFC classifies as fresh chicken to 900 restaurants across the country is pretty complex. I would agree that is probably pretty complex. Now, just out of curiosity, how many KFCs do you think there are in America compared to the UK?
A fucking lot. I mean, is that even a question?
Yes, it is a question, because I just asked it.
Well, what I'm saying is it even worthwhile trying to compare the two? Because I'm pretty sure it's like a 15-1 or some bullshit.
Oh, it's a lot more than that, buddy.
What is it?
As of 2015, KFC has... Actually, no, that's for the entire world. Hold on, I'm looking. Now,
good job.
While I'm looking at this, do you think Colonel Sanders is related to Bernie Sanders?
I'm pretty sure people were trying to make this joke in the presidential election.
And?
I don't think any of them were good.
We're reviving it now.
That's not.
There are 4,491 KFC locations in the United States as of 2013.
How many? 4,000 what?
4,491, so about 4,500.
Okay.
That actually, that's not...
900? Yeah, I was about right. It's about 15-1.
That's less than I thought, to be completely honest. Because you figure the United Kingdom is about... It's what? Probably about the size of Kentucky. Total square footage, right?
Maybe.
Probably should research this at a time, but why am I looking at square footage? That's not the most efficient means to measure it.
I need the square footage.
The United Kingdom is 94,500 square miles. Kentucky is, drum roll please, 39,000 square miles. So, United Kingdom is 3 Kentuckys, which I think is a unit of measurement we should bring back. 3 Kentuckys.
I don't know. I don't never really eaten at Kentucky Fried Food, so I really don't care about this a whole lot.
At Kentucky Fried Food?
I don't know. Have you really eaten it? I haven't.
Not in a very long time. I remember the last time I ate... So last time I ate KFC, I was in high school, and my job at the time, which I hated, was I was the camera guy for the the girls' basketball team. So I would travel around with them on the bus and film their basketball games, which is somebody who has no interest in basketball is a miserable fucking job because you're just standing like in this quote unquote press box, which most of the time is just like a plywood platform that they've attached to the side of their gymnasium. And you've got a camera on a tripod, and you just follow the ball back and forth. And you do that for a couple hours, and then you're like, I hate my life. I've made $5. I want to go home and die, please. Which, yeah, I got paid $5 a game, which it was way less than minimum wage, but whatever. I did actually go to a school that had an honest to God press box, though, which was amazing. And this was one of the real fancy schools, obviously, because they had $1 billion gymnasium. But yeah, there's a press box. You went up there. You had some really comfortable chairs so you could sit down. There was a table. I just propped the camera up on a table and just lounged and moved the camera back and forth to follow the ball, or to follow the follow the ball, basically. And, then I went and bought a slice of pizza, and that used all of my money.
Yeah,
that I had earned that day.
Yeah,
So
but you got free pizza.
Yes. Well, no,
technically,
I paid for the
sort
pizza.
of. Well, you technically got it free.
I mean, if I go buy groceries with money from my paycheck, that doesn't make the groceries free, does it? That's not how economics work. The
no
groceries cost me money, just like the pizza cost me money.
Whatever.
Anyway, we were talking about KFC.
You're ruining the fun out of it.
We were talking about KFC. Oh yeah, so I ate KFC before going to one of these games, and then I threw up in the gymnasium. I was just sitting there, and I'm like, I don't feel so good. I'm like, where's the closest trash can? And I kind of look at it. I'm like, I'm going to need to know where that is in a minute. And sure enough, I sprinted over there and just threw my little heart out. And yeah, I haven't eaten KFC since.
Threw my little heart out. No, I don't think I've ever had KFC. There was one in Lithuania when I was there.
Ah, that's interesting.
But it was like nobody was there, so I was like, I'm not surprised.
Now, I mean, and you can do this at home easily, but get some KFC biscuits and some honey, and that's pretty good.
Not.
No, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's the one thing from KFC I like. Mashed potatoes from KFC aren't bad, but
what? Yeah, I'm not a big KFC fan, so whatever.
How do you know? You've never had it before.
I guess you're right. I'm wrong. Fuck me.
I think this is a spam conundrum. We need to have you try KFC.
No!
Why not?
We're not doing this again.
Come on. On a rating of things to eat, KFC is probably three places above spam.
No.
It's got some flavor to it.
They're on the same fucking plane.
It's not a meat cube, so it's got that going for it.
I don't think spam's even a cube.
It's not a meat rectangle with rounded edges. That's what spam.
I think it's more. I don't know. I don't want to know.
Well, you've never had it either.
I'm pretty sure it's fucking stringy or whatever. If you know what I mean.
Spam?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's like Jell-O basically, except a little more
Fuck!
dense.
And you wanted me to eat this? Fuck you.
Dense meat. It's dense processed meat. I've had it before.
Never fucking eaten that. Yeah, fuck you.
It's not awful.
It's horrible.
It's not though.
It's bad.
It's real salty. Yeah.
I would rather have a fucking MRE pizza when those come out than a fucking than that shit.
Than MRE spam?
No, MRE pizza. I said pizza.
I'm surprised there isn't MRE spam though. That seems like
that used to be a thing.
That seemed like World War II. That was a thing, probably.
Yeah,
that's when spam took off because you could just
that is
can it and leave it there for years on end.
Yeah, and a lot of people wanted it for their nuclear shelters, so it's a win-win.
See, and you don't want to eat it.
No, I don't want to fucking eat it.
You put that some cream of mushroom soup over that shit, and it's pretty good.
No.
You also not like cream of mushroom soup?
I used to like it. I'm not a big fan about it anymore.
Well, anyway. Video games?
Video games!
Yeah.
So, for pretty much this one, because the news is like to do the repeat of this, to where I shared Joe a fake article thing, more making fun of it, being blaming video games has now gotten an HD remaster, because that's what we're doing again, is blaming video games for school shootings. But, anyways, so I decided to just dabble into it a bit, and I found a website that did 8 myths that have been debunked about video games and violence and shit like that, which is what it's titled. Didn't check the date on the website until after I was all done. Turns out the website's from 2004, but here we go anyways. We're going to start with one, but seeing I'm going to say this now, Joe says he's going to refute a bunch of these, or try to. I don't know.
Yes.
Like him thing.
Gonna argue.
So anyways, yes. So for number one, the availability of video games has led to an epidemic of youth violence. Do you want me to say my thing first, or do you want to try going for it? Strongest risk factors for young violence is centered on the mental stability and the quality of home life, not media exposure.
It says who?
Oh fuck! That's how you're seriously gonna do your arguments?
I mean, that'd be a valid argument.
They cited their sources in this article, by the way.
So let's say some psychologist says that. Good for them.
Yeah, I think it is. So give me a second. Do your thing. I'll go check.
So the strongest risk factors for.
Oh, you're reading. Okay.
I haven't planned an argument.
You should have planned your fucking argument.
So who's to say that... Okay, so mental stability and quality of home life, not media exposure. Who's to say that... So you're saying if I show a kid a snuff film, that's not going to have any effect on him or how he views the world? Or them, or how they view the world, rather?
I think that's just going to mentally scar them until they're an adult and they start getting curious.
Start getting curious? Well... So the same...
Well, you know what I mean on that one, but yeah.
The same thing could be said for video games, then. I mean, if... Yeah, alright, if they're mentally stable, they're not going to go shoot up anything, but who's to say that video games don't contribute to destabilizing somebody mentally?
I think that's an argument later down in a different one. No, I seriously, that is like another argument in like one of the other ones. We'll have to get to that one.
Okay. That's my whole counter argument for that, so.
I'm trying to find it, though. I remember reading it, I just don't remember which one it was for. Oh, I think it was the second one, scientific evidence links violence to game to youth business. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna go to that one. Scientific evidence, or I should restate this. Number 2, scientific evidence links violent gameplay with youth aggression. Okay, there's a few of these refutes. Claims like this are based on the work of researchers who represent one relatively narrow school of research, media effects in quotations. This research includes some 300 studies of media violence, but most of those studies are inconclusive, and many have been criticized on
grounds.
Thank you, methodical grounds. I.e., in these studies, media images are removed from any narrative context. Subjects are asked to engage with content that they would not normally consume and may not understand.
Okay. So, you're saying that basically that argument is that context makes violence okay, or it makes it more easy for people to handle violence in media than just showing them somebody with
what this one is saying that the evidence behind it has been kind of flawed.
Yeah, so they're saying
to show that it's showing that there is violence. Or the violences are correlated between the two, when the studies are not doing it correctly.
So have any correct studies been done to prove that their studies are wrong, or are they just saying that they're wrong based on...
No, there are a lot of them out there. I didn't link any of those there. I probably should, but there have been a lot of studies that have shown that there's been less violence even throughout... it's actually in one of these fucking things, too. So that juvenile violent crime, just like juvenile violent crime, is at like a 30-year low. It's like not gotten any bigger. Actually, it'd probably be like 45-year now. But yeah, it's a lot lower now. A lot of people usually don't do... A lot of kids don't fight anymore, because now they got fucking video games to do that shit with. Like, they can do a lot of their own stuff where they don't need to, I don't know how to word this correctly. They don't need to go out and hurt someone else because they have they're out to do it, like in a game. A lot of people use this as an escapism type deal.
Okay. I'm gonna edit this out, but just keep going down the list, and then we'll just go over it all at the end.
The next one is children are the primary market for video games. This one has been with their 62% of the console market and 66% of the market of the PC market is age 18 or older. This is back in 2004. I'm pretty sure those numbers are up to a little higher now. Or they may be more half and half. I'd have to go look, but I'm pretty sure they're still 18 or older is still higher. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, just go down them all.
Okay. Another one, I don't know why this one was in there because it was weird, but it was a weird outlier, I guess. Almost no girls play video games. Historically, the video game market has been predominantly male. However, the percentage of women playing games has steadily increased over the past decade. Women now slightly outnumber men playing web-based games. It's pretty much fucking browser games, shit like that.
Farmville.
Yeah, that one. Alright, the next one is, because games are used to train soldiers to kill, they have the same impact on the kids who play them. So the military, I guess if you want to call them games, play games, but they're more simulators, if anything. The military uses games as a part of a specific curriculum with clearly defined goals in a context where students actively want to learn and have a need for the information being transmitted. That one's kind of self-explanatory. The second to last one... No, it's not the second last one. The third to last one is video games are not a meaningful form of expression. Many early games were a little more than just shooting galleries where players were encouraged to blast everything that moved. Many current games are designed to be ethical testing grounds. They allow players to navigate an expansive and open-ended world, make their own choices, and witness their consequences. So a good game to fucking put for that is fucking Spec Ops: The Line, because that one's a fucked up game. The Sims designer Will Wright argues that games are perhaps the only medium that allows us to experience guilt over the actions of fictional characters. In a movie, one can always pull back and condemn the character or the artist when they cross certain social boundaries, but in playing a game, we choose what happens to the characters. That's his refute to that, of saying that they are a meaningful form of expression. Second to last one, video game play is socially isolating. Almost 60% of frequent gamers play with friends, 33% play games with siblings, and 25% play with spouses or parents. And that's in 2004. I want to know what that number is now. Even games designed for single players are often played socially, with one person giving advice to another holding a joystick. That's now Twitch. A growing number of games are designed for multiple players, for either cooperative play in the same space, or online play with distributed players. Oh, I gotta burp.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, the last one. Video game play is desensitizing. I just burped again. God damn it. Game designer and play theorist Eric Zimmerman describes the ways we understand play as distinctive. Okay, I should have reread this.
Distinctive from
That we understand play as... No, I sentence to me didn't sound right. Describes the ways we understand play as distinctive from reality as entering the magic circle. The same actions, say, sweeping a floor, may take on different meanings in play, as in playing house, than in reality, housework. Media reformers argue that playing violent video games can cause a lack of empathy for real-world victims, yet a child who responds to a video game the same way he or she responds to a real-world tragedy could be showing symptoms of being severely emotionally disturbed. Here's where the media affects research, which often uses punching rubber dolls as a marker of real-world aggression, becomes problematic. The kid who is punching a toy designed for this purpose is still within the magic circle of play and understands her actions on those terms. Such research shows us only that violent play leads to more violent play. And that's it.
Okay. I mean, so I was going to try to argue against a lot of this, but I agree with most of it, and also it's set up in a way that it's hard to argue against. But, because we just don't have stats or anything to argue against. There is something I did disagree with. The, gaming market, marketing is primarily, games are primarily marketed towards children. That is still potentially skewed depending on how they collect their stats.
But this is in 2004, so it's probably changed a whole lot more nowadays.
But still, it'd be potentially skewed
yes.
if they're looking at the people buying it or the people playing it, and how are they gathering that information, because most games don't make you fill out age information when you play.
No, I think they were probably using the stats off of maybe random surveys. I don't know. Let me actually see if he has something in the sources.
But the other point of that is, if a game, like, if it's based off who's buying the game, that number's not accurate at all, because hell, when I was 14, 15, I would have my parents go buy Call of Duty or whatever for me because I couldn't legally buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd probably, I don't know. I do feel like the...
well, one of these came up with the 404, so that we're going off great.
Nice. That's what happens when you look at 12-year-old websites. I would say probably the game market's gotten more mature, definitely since 2004. You've got games that are more narratively focused, and I think that is a real thing, feeling guilt in games when you do something that goes against your own moral conscience.
Okay, so I did find a poll for age breakdown of video game players in the United States as of 2017.
Okay.
I can't find where they're sourcing their materials, but The age breakdown is under 18 years is 29%, 18 to 35 is 27, 36 to 49 is 19, and 50 years old and older is 26%. It's kind of fucking... That's a lot more than I thought.
I wonder what markets they're looking at. Because if they're looking at phone games, I could definitely believe that.
I'm looking in their thing right now. Looking at sales data, we can observe the development of video game market and changes to consumer format preferences. In a period of 7 years, the decline of physical video game sales was accompanied by a growth in the share of digital format. In 2009, 80% of video games. That does not tell me about people.
So yeah, I think overall,
this one does a change now. In 2014, the results was an equal split of 52% of men and 48% of women having played video games that year. But again, it doesn't say what games.
Kind of games or how often they played. Because playing a single video game is, that's not impressive. I am not impressed.
2015. In 2015, percentage of consumers who ever play video games in the United States as of July 2015 by age group is 18 to 29 years is 67%, 30 to 49 years is 58%, 50 to 64 is 40, 65 years and older is 25. You're not giving me sources, which I'm not liking though. Show sources information.
Anyway, yeah, I think overall, humans' abilities to discern between reality and fiction basically make this argument useless.
I guess, yeah.
If I'm playing a video game and murdering people, then I understand that murdering people in real life is bad. A couple of years ago, Jim Sterling did a video on this, which is really good and I think definitely worth checking out. We'll add it to the links for this episode. But he talks about a lot of the same stuff we're talking about. And he shows a clip of, to prove his point, he shows a clip of, there's a British politician who shot himself in the head live on air. And
oh, yeah.
Basically, his argument was anyone who's watching this is probably somebody who plays violent games. And a majority of you are probably still disturbed by what you just saw. And he's right. Yeah. That is disturbing to see. And yeah, I've seen a lot. I haven't seen a lot. I shouldn't say that. I've seen some pretty gruesome things and some, unfortunately, pretty violent things. And
lively.
Yeah, well, not I mean, yeah.
Lively is like
I avoid
the source.
Lively though, for those reasons. And yeah, no matter how many people I've killed in video games, that stuff never stops being uncomfortable and being off-putting and that. So yeah, I think mostly this argument is off base. If somebody is mentally unstable enough that they're going to consider committing violence against another person, video games might be somewhat of an enabler to that. But I don't know that they're not the cause in any way, shape, or form for a majority of society. They're not turning us all into serial killers, is what I'm getting at.
We're all gonna murder each other.
I'm kind of interested to see if VR has any effect on that, though.
It's too early to tell.
And again, I don't think it will. I think because there's not much difference between playing paintball and shooting people in VR, really. If you along the same lines of being able to distinguish it from being play or being real. So yeah, but VR is a lot more immersive. So maybe some people will struggle between differentiating reality and fiction, and might cause more issues. But honestly, I don't see that happening. So
yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say because, again, like I was saying, VR is a little too new to kind of decide that right now.
Mm.
It hasn't been out enough sales-wise. There's not a lot of it out there. At least it doesn't seem like it.
It's not a big enough market to...
I don't see any... Nobody's really been touting VR sales.
Yeah, no, I don't think they have been. I mean, it's starting to take off a little bit. I think you can probably tell by the number of VR games that are getting released. There's probably more... Honestly, there's probably more games for Vive than there ever was for Kinect now, so... But yeah, so but I think you're right. I don't think anybody's talked about specific sales numbers, how well they're doing, or anything like that. But it'd be kind of interested to see what kind of effects games like Onward, like super realistic games, in such an immersive environment have on people's psyche.
I don't know. You could think it'd make it worse because you'd probably get more traumatized with seeing stuff like that. But
again,
yeah,
it's
I
just
don't know.
play. Like, and generally, the human brain
Yeah.
is good at distinguishing play from not play, from actually murdering people. And there have been things so as a complete sidetrack, I used to be super into airsoft. But I know several people, and I know there's been a couple, I think, like small studies done into it, but people who have been to Iraq and Afghanistan, stuff like that, come back and they play airsoft because it retrains their brain into thinking of violence as play again instead of as this horrible thing. Yeah, and it helps deal with some of the effects of PTSD and stuff like that, from what I've heard. So, and yeah, I think as long as your brain is stable enough to determine play from reality, then it's not a problem for you. And if it's not, you've probably got other problems. So,
yeah.
Moving on to a lighter topic.
Well, is it really? I don't think it is. Well, it might be. I don't
suing
know.
Microsoft. Yeah, Frank Dickman, which heroic name right there, bud.
Oh, every single time I read that name, it's just great. It's like you can't exist.
He's got to
There's
name
no
his
way.
kid Richard.
Oh, yes.
But yeah. From Albuquerque, New Mexico, is filing a $600 million lawsuit against Microsoft. It's specifically its CEO for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if like he's got a grudge against the CEO or if it's standard to call out the CEO when you're suing a company, but he's suing him because his Asus laptop automatically updated to Windows 10 because Microsoft were assholes about that and just gave some people an update they didn't want. But then it broke his laptop, which I wouldn't be surprised. I've known a lot of people have had issues with the Windows 10 update, especially on laptops. It just kills like disk utilization for some reason. It just uses all of the disk speed all of the time, so you can't do anything. He wants Windows, or he wants some Windows. He wants Microsoft to give him a Windows 7 copy tied to his OEM key because I don't know. But you can still buy, like, I don't get what his deal is. You can still go to Newegg and buy a perfectly legal copy of Windows 7 with a key. Hell, if he has the OEM key and he can get a hold of a disk, he can probably just install it that way. It's been a while since I've read up on installing Microsoft, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you could just install it that way. Or at the very least, if he got an Asus OEM disk, he could definitely install it then. But yeah, he wants Microsoft to give him a version of Windows 7 within 30 days. Or he wants $600 million.
All this for just fucking Windows 7. God damn it.
Oh, man. Just wait until they stop. I wonder how long it's going to be before they stop supporting Windows 7. Because I think it's slated to 2021 right now. But fuck, I don't think it's going to happen. They couldn't even, like, I mean, when Windows XP was getting phased out end of life, there were companies that were paying Microsoft millions of dollars to keep supporting it because they just hadn't swept off of it yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, he's representing himself in court, which is the sign of somebody who's... Yeah,
you ain't gonna do it. Yeah,
you are not going to
win
win on your own against Microsoft.
You're not gonna win, period, if you run yourself.
I mean, if you get a good lawyer, maybe. But against Microsoft on your own, unless you're a, like, fantastic lawyer specializing in this area. I don't even know what this area would be. But yeah. I'm interested to see how it turns out.
So you're pretty much going to be watching this just as much as you've been watching
probably
Rocket Man?
not now. The only reason we followed up on Rocket Man is because people kept writing news articles about him and it kept showing up in my Google News feed. So somebody else did the work for us. But if Rocket Man shows up in Google News again, don't worry. We're going to talk about it.
I bet you he won't, because he's going to have to try and do another fucking... is he going to try again?
He said
I
he was, but I don't think they've officialized anything yet. I want him to do it. Like, I want him to...
I wanted to do it so he could be sad and find out that, I didn't even go high enough.
I don't want him to get hurt. I want him to be fine. But I also want him to fail miserably. Like... the perfect world for me would be his rocket started, got about 10 feet off the ground, and then just slowly fell backwards. That'd be so good to watch. I would maybe he should start calling out like SpaceX. You know how like rappers do rap battles?
Yeah, I'm surprised none of the flat earthers. Well, I guess they might have. I don't know.
There's not really a Tesla in space because the Earth is flat.
Oh, speaking of which, there's a photo going around. Either it's really badly photoshopped, or someone's doing a really fucking good job at hiding it. But you know how they're live streaming the car flying through space or whatever the fuck? A Russian hacker, quote unquote, found a picture of it just being in a film studio.
Oh.
Here, I'm gonna look at
sure.
the picture for you. Do. Oh my god, there's a fact checks on Snopes for this shit.
Nice. But Snopes is run by the government, so can't trust them unless they say something you agree with.
Alright, I gotta keep...
Well, I have found the image of which you speak.
Oh, you found it?
I'm just looking at it to see if I can notice anything that is immediately fishy. I mean, besides the lighting being really fucking off, because it's in a bright studio and the SpaceX is in space, or the Tesla is in space. Let's see what this article is talking about.
It was posted on some fucking Russian Twitter page that I follow, so I'm looking for it.
Why do you follow a Russian Twitter feed?
Oh, because they post fucking hilarious pictures.
I think this is supposed to be the picture of it, at least. No.
Vice Chairman of State Duma Parliament confirms 300 Russian fighters just died in Syria, quote-unquote, by U.S. airstrike. Yeah, okay.
It's an effective-ass airstrike.
That's a really effective-ass airstrike. But yeah, the Twitter page I follow, they do a bunch of, like, just weird, photos of, like, just, or things in Russia. Just, like, a bunch of weird shit. It's great. I'll show you some of them later. Oh, speaking of which.
Yes?
Let me Gaiazo it.
Oh, I got a picture of Dead Space.
Ooh. That franchise that got run into the ground by EA. There you go.
Ah.
A lot of questions.
Well, that
Lots
would be a shopping cart on a pole there.
I have a lot of questions on how the fuck
That's
happened.
impressive. Anyway, I wonder if you could just point a telescope at the space Tesla to prove that it's there. I assume you can. I mean, you get a powerful enough telescope. Although...
Yeah, you'd have to get a... I don't think it's that far.
Yet.
I don't know.
It's getting farther,
yeah.
though, just progressively, so...
Well, duh. I mean, duh.
But it's not still streaming, is it?
I don't know.
That'd be cool. If we just had... What? That's what Elon Musk should do next. Just launch a camera into space that is constantly streaming to Twitch.
I think it was on YouTube.
Yeah, but nobody likes YouTube streaming.
I guess.
It's loud as fuck. Can you still watch it? Nope, the battery died. Come on, SpaceX. You fucking Tesla. You have an electric car.
Come on,
you
Elon
can't keep
Musk.
a battery alive to keep a camera going.
You motherfucker.
Put a fucking solar panel on it. Problem solved. All right, I'm gonna move on. All right, so moving on. I don't have a transition. We've started what I've just on my own started calling the segment of interest, and that is now the official term because I just said it. Which is our scripted segment every week. Gives us a chance to write something and talk about what we like to talk about. So, earlier this week, I asked my question, what makes a game bad? And as I have not shut up about for the past 2 weeks, I've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance. Like, a lot. At the time of recording this, the game has been out for 12 days, and I've put just over 30 hours into it. And I honestly can't say that it's a good game. At least not in the traditional sense. It's buggy as hell, and although I haven't personally experienced anything game-breaking, there's loads of examples online of ridiculous shit happening that is completely unacceptable for a $60 game. Then there's some of the design decisions. The realistic combat can be incredibly frustrating, lockpicking is possibly the most rage-inducing thing ever conceived, and the save system is so ill-conceived that I downloaded a mod to fix it before I launched the game for the first time. But I've still put 30 hours into it in under 2 weeks, and I regret none of it. Furthermore, I plan to keep going. I fully expect this to earn a coveted place among the list of rare games that I've completed, possibly more than once. There's plenty of other games out there like this too, broken games with ridiculous mechanics that not only I love, but everyone else does. Skyrim and Fallout both come to mind. Known for being bug-ridden, these games are still among my personal favorite, as long as people's favorites. I personally put over 1,000 hours into Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 4 combined, and at least 300 into Skyrim. And I think you could easily make the argument that none of these games are high enough quality on a technical level to charge a full $60. especially Skyrim, which is still being re-released at full price and still contains many bugs that were found in the original version of the game. But they are still what I would consider great games. Despite some of their poor design decisions and ridiculous bugs, maybe it's the level of detail, seeing NPCs go through their day-to-day lives in spite of your existence. Maybe it's the pure scope of the maps, letting you roam about and sightsee for hours. Or maybe, just maybe, it's the escape from the monotony of our day-to-day lives. You can go to a post-apocalyptic world and scavenge through the ruins, looking for anything that'll help you in your struggle for survival against the cruel, irradiated world. You can travel to a magical land to realize your place as the chosen one and put a stop to the dragon menace. Or, beneath the willow tree in the Czech Republic, on a peaceful early evening nearly 600 years ago, you can get stabbed by some motherfucker named Ulrich. No matter how hard you try, you can't beat him in a sword fight. So, alright, so, cause I told you I deleted my save and started over, right?
Yeah.
It's all Ulrich's fault. It's his fault. So, spoiler alert, you meet this guy named Ulrich. You have the option to pass a speech check, basically. Use your speechcraft to have him not kill you. Or you have to beat him in a fight, and he kind of becomes your pseudo-ally type deal. And then you go do some stuff, and he helps you murder some people. And then you come to a point where you and him have a difference of opinion. He wants to kill somebody that you need to live. And he's like, well, I'm going to kill him. And you're like, no, you're not. And he's like, you want to fight about it? And then I couldn't beat him in that fight either. So I just deleted that save and started over.
Jesus. But to go back on his saying that he hasn't finished very many games, no, Joe never finishes fucking games, ever.
I do not. Skyrim, Fallout 3, 4, New Vegas are all games that I've finished. Hold on, I'm looking through my Steam list right now to see other games that I've actually finished. Because no, there's not a lot of them. Especially since I transitioned into adulthood. It's a weird way to say that. Since I turned 18, and gotten a job and stuff, I just play a game, and then when I'm not having fun with it anymore, I just kind of stop playing it. So, GTA 5, I think, is probably the last AAA game GTA 5 and The Witcher 3. So The Witcher 3 is the last, like, AAA game that I've beaten. I mean, little indie games, stuff that takes an hour or two to beat, I beat, but big open world games, not normally.
I don't understand why you can't finish games. Like, you play them forever, and yet you can't finish them, and it annoys the shit out of me.
Because I don't want to. Like, there's very rare. So, and maybe this is more an issue with how games tell stories or how most games are written, but very rarely is the main quest so compelling that I want to keep going. I'd rather go, I don't know, fuck around and do something else. Like in Fallout 4, even though I've beaten Fallout 4, but that's more for, hold on. Because I just got distracted by Steam because there's an article titled under the news by PC Gamer, How I Accidentally Lost My Virginity in Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Huh.
So we're going to move on from that. So, yeah, Fallout 4 has an abysmal story, in my opinion. And I think the only reason I beat it is probably out of loyalty to the series more than anything else. But yeah, if a game's story isn't compelling enough that I want to keep going and keep seeing what happens next, then I'm not going to keep going and keep seeing what happens next just because I can, because I've got better things to do with my time. In the Fallout 4 case, I'd rather go build a giant fort with mortars in it, so. And
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm going to end it, so.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Well, on that note, thank you for listening to the To Be Decided podcast. If you enjoyed our show, please like and subscribe on whatever platform you choose to listen on. Don't forget that if you're listening on SoundCloud, this will be the very last episode that we upload there. If you want to continue listening, check out tobedecidedpodcast.com where you can see all the other ways to listen. Basically, any standard podcast app that pulls from iTunes or Google Play Music will work. You can also see show notes, links, stuff that we've talked about there, much more. And if you've noticed, we've started mixing up our formats, so let us know what you think on Twitter at @ToBeDecidedPodcast. @_ToBeDecidedPodcast. Thank you. Have a good evening.